Hello there, friends. Good morning on a beautiful day. Look how blue the sky is. It's beautiful. Going for my morning walk. It's about 5:45 in the a.m. and I'm just enjoying life. So today's video is called the 10 free ways to live longer, smarter, happier life. And the first topic would be sleep. Sleep is the foundation of everything. We all feel better after a nice night's sleep, and it's foundational to everything else in a healthy lifestyle. It's a transition from one day to the next. So it doesn't cost anything to have a regular sleep schedule where you go to bed sometime around 9 or 10 o'clock, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later. Get those very valuable healing parts of the sleep cycle between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. and have a relaxing, recuperative sleep. Some of the things that enhance our sleep are doing a relaxing phase sometime before bed, maybe 30 minutes to an hour before bed, laying down or meditating, relaxing with the lights low lighting, and maybe doing some yoga, meditating, maybe reading something you like to read, thinking happy thoughts. So sleeping is fundamental. You want to sleep in a dark space, nice clean environment. I use eye covering to cover my eyes. I actually use mouth tape to tape my lips closed to encourage nose breathing, because nose breathing is way more healthier than breathing through your mouth. And there's been all kinds of studies that talk about the difference in quality of breathing between the two. So there's something very special about how the air that goes through the nasal passages has a special filtering for the air that gets into the lungs. So I don't always use mouth tape, and I tend to sleep on my side, which causes me to breathe through my nose anyway. If I fall over onto my back, I typically start breathing through my mouth. unless I have mouth tape, and then there's an issue. So going to bed around 10 o'clock, a little earlier, a little later, and getting up at the same time is ideal. And there are things that do cost money, like an Oura ring, but just the idea, the habit of good, consistent sleep is probably at the top of what you can do for free for a healthy, happy, healthy life. Sometimes I like to walk backwards, which I'm doing now, and walking backwards is also that's a great part of a healthy regimen, but I'll cover that later in walking. Second very important and free, yet really difficult to kind of handle because it's so subconscious, is attitude. You show me an illness or someone who's suffering or just having a less than great life, and I'll show you an attitude that is leading the way. By the way, another great exercise when you're walking backwards is looking behind you. That's really great for your neck. It's great for your flexibility. It also prevents you from walking into something behind you. So that's very important. So anyway, so attitude. So yeah, we don't really realize how we have negative thoughts. We have thoughts that permeate our mind and sabotage us that we're not even aware of. And these sabotaging thoughts could cause us, I'm going to cross the road here, these sabotaging thoughts could negatively impact the quality of our life. I'm gracefully crossing the street here, making sure not to get hit by cars. So a free but tedious, perhaps, investigation or exploration of our attitude can greatly improve the quality of our life. Joe Dispenza talks about how that basically we have 70,000 thoughts going through our heads a day, and 90% of those thoughts are regurgitated from the past. So that means 90% of our thinking is determined through the past and past experiences. And what that translates into our past carrying over into our future. And that's great if you've done great things and you've had a positive trend in life, but any shortcomings you have anything that holds you back, any things that hold you back, perpetuate into the future, because our thoughts create our actions, and our thoughts and emotions control our actions. Our actions control our habits, or turn into habits. Your habits over time basically define your personality or your character, and that's your destiny. So if you want to change your destiny, your character, your personality, any parts of your personality that don't particularly work, you might want to look at your attitude and try to examine the thoughts that go through your day and the feelings that you go through the course of a day, and become aware of them, because if you're aware of them, then you have an opportunity to perhaps change them or adjust them. So that's the value of attitude, and there's a lot more to it, but and of course attitude is attitude is directly related to sleep and every other healthy habit. So that's attitude. And then the next free thing you can deal with that affects your life, the quality of your life, is relaxation. It's said that everything comes easier to a relaxed, calm mind. So the ability to relax yourself helps you learn better, helps you take on issues in your life better, and the access to that relaxation lies in deep breathing, meditation. It can be prayer for some, but it's just a relaxation, and every cell in your body is enlivened with oxygen, and deep breathing is the access, or gives the access to that relaxation. Yeah, so and now meditation adds an element to the deep breathing in terms of giving your mind a rest from the continual self-talk happening in your brain, whether it's asking, does he like me, does she like me, how am I doing, is my boss going to fire me, blah blah blah, what about this, what about that, danger danger, stranger danger, blah blah blah. What transcendental meditation works on is the idea of using a mantra, like a 3 or 4, 5, 6 syllable mantra, Lu, Rahu, whatever, or something to focus on, so that for a short time during the day, you're giving your mind a rest from that continual chatter. Because even when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is chattering away. So during your waking hours, while you have control of what you focus on, focusing on nothing and giving your mind a rest can be very beneficial. Just like it's hard to focus on more than one thing at once. So by saying a mantra, even if it's you're taking your focus off. It's hard for you to be thinking petty thoughts or what have you while you're doing your mantra. And of course, there's all kinds of meditation, schools of meditation. So, and I'm not an expert, but I do get a lot out of it. So, and also meditation, the relaxation, it helps with attitude, it helps with sleep. It's especially good at getting you ready for sleep by just doing some meditation and getting into a relaxed, comfortable mindset with deep breathing. And very conducive to starting or preparing for sleep, because you're sort of like calming down the system and getting ready for relaxation and recuperation. Closely related to meditation, and number 4 is yoga. I could never meditate. I was very hyper. I would try to meditate, and all these things on my to-do list would enter my mind and would invade my thoughts, and I just couldn't sit still and meditate. And this was like all my life whenever I thought I might try to meditate, because I had curiosity about it. But when I would start to meditate, just things would pop up. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, put out this fire, do this, pay this bill, call someone I hadn't called in a while, blah, blah, blah. And wasn't one day I was at a yoga class, actually at the Optimum Health Institute in Lemon Grove, California, right outside San Diego. After the yoga class, I was blissed out and able to meditate. And I've been able to meditate ever since. So if you have a hard time meditating, I understand. I've had the same challenge, and it's worth working through. The most important thing is all these things are worth working through. You can get to the gold by being patient and discovering where the secret lies with you as an individual, because everyone's journey is different, but your path your way of accomplishing something, getting from point A to point B, is unique to you. So all these free things can be done, and it's also important to have an open mind about it all. So yeah, so that is number 4 is yoga. Now, what I like about yoga, and some people are turned off to yoga because of religious reasons, because of, I guess, spiritual aspects of it. I've mostly been into the actual physical aspects of it, the relaxation aspects of it, but what makes sense to me intuitively is that yoga was developed over many centuries, I believe, and has over the centuries systematically created a system of postures, they call them, postures that go throughout the entire range of human movement, and exercising our total range of human movement to keep the body flexible and toned. And the beautiful part about it is that these postures, these twists and turns, they're coordinated with breathing. They're coordinated with deep breathing. And so therefore, not only are you flexing and stretching out systematically all the muscles and body parts of your of your body, but you're also, through your deep breathing large amounts of oxygen into every single part of your body. So with every breath you take, you're feeding your body oxygen, and you're doing it in a way that is balanced, because typically you do every move to your left side or your right side. So you're balancing your body, you're oxygenating your body. It's one of the best things you can do. And again, you can go to a yoga class and spend money, but you can do it for free. You can watch YouTube videos for free and learn yoga. You can take out books from the library. Probably better to go to watch YouTube videos, more explanative. But yeah, I started going to yoga classes years ago, and I eventually learned enough so that I could do yoga on my own whenever I want. And so I have the freedom to do yoga whenever I want. And that's just, it's a very freeing experience to have that power to just be able to do that for my body, like stretch it out, spend as much time on each posture as I want, as opposed to being confined to the rhythm and the instructor's cadence or instruction. If I want to stay in my favorite posture is the plow. If I want to stay in the plow for 15 minutes, I can. So that's yoga, and yoga ties everything else together. Of course, all these things you can do for your health are interrelated. Yoga contributes to your attitude. Meditation and yoga are like extremely close. One is more mental, and then yoga is more of the physical expression. And they both affect your sleep. They both affect your attitude. Your attitude affects yoga and meditation. It's your attitude that causes you to choose to do yoga. It's your attitude that causes you to take time to be healthy, to learn, to be curious. So those are the top four, and that's all I have for now. Number 5 is hydration. Our bodies are made up mostly of water, and so having the right quantity and quality of water intake is crucial to ideal health, crucial to longevity and having your best life. So not only how much you drink, but in what form the hydration comes into your body. And there's different schools of thought. But what you don't want to do is be dehydrated. So this is an involved topic for me because I'm really a stickler for quality of water. So I try to exclusively drink water, reverse osmosis water that I get from Whole Foods. I try to only drink out of glass bottles. So I totally avoid drinking out of plastic. Don't buy plastic bottles and stuff like that. I have a trick that I use to get inexpensive, high-quality water bottles that I can share sometime. But at any rate, and then drinking reverse osmosis water, there's the challenge of the fact that it's void of minerals, or the minerals are also extracted from the process. So then you have to deal with the issue of getting your minerals, which, I don't know. I really haven't discovered the best way to do that. And it comes down to a lot of times of an issue of trust. You see some mineral company saying, this is liquid minerals, and put 10 drops into your water, and that'll give you minerals. Well, what minerals in what balance? Really, I think the best way to go about it is and this could cost money, but is getting your body tested for mineral content and trying to arrive at an ideal mix of minerals for your body for optimal physiology. But at any rate, I have this bottle of minerals, and it says put 10 drops a day, or 10 drops in a such and such quantity of water. And then I have Shilajit, which is supposed to be authentic, and you're supposed to use that twice a day. Either it's sort of like a tarry substance. Either put it under your tongue sublingually twice a day, or mix it in with warm water. And it's a small amount, but anyway, that's the extent of my knowledge and exploration with getting the right quality of, or the right quality of water, and adding the minerals. Some reverse osmosis filters or purifiers have an added mineral component to them. So then there's also getting your hydration through fruits and vegetables like watermelon, and, oranges and stuff like that. So, and then soups and juicing. I try to drink juice every day, typically organic juice. I have recipes I can share, and oftentimes I'll make it every other day and make enough for 2 days, and I add a lot of stuff to my typically vegetable juice. And so there's that. A lot of people feel that you should get your water, your hydration in a food form as opposed to drinking pure water. I'm not sure what the ideal mix is, but I know that you want to be discriminating about anything and everything you put into your body, in your mouth. And so a conservative bet would be to have reverse osmosis water, or some form of high quality water that well, and again, that's the water isn't free. You're not gonna, unless you live near a spring, you're not gonna find free spring water. But reverse osmosis water over at Whole Foods is like 49 cents a gallon. So although not free, not really a major budget item. It's more like setting yourself up by having the bottles and scheduling, or you can get a water filter, but that costs money. You can get a decent water filter for around $300, and then you want to deal with make sure you're getting your minerals, trace elements, etc. So hydration, and also juicing, getting a decent juicer, cold press juicer that doesn't heat the juice, that doesn't or minimizes heating, doesn't heat it, doesn't oxygenate it as much. So, and then the sixth area, free area of maximizing your longevity, health, happiness is food intake. It's not just what you eat, it's when you eat, it's how you eat, it's are you relaxed when you eat? Are you happy when you eat? I think we all know that when you eat under duress, you're probably better off not eating then. You're probably better off just trying to relax and transition into a place where you're not going to do more harm than good by getting an upset stomach, by eating if you're upset or angry or even depressed. That's probably a intuitive reason why people don't eat much when they're not happy, is because their body intuitively knows that they're better off not eating. So chewing your food, chewing your food so you get the maximum breakdown and mixing it with your saliva so that you're getting the maximum, you're extracting the maximum nutritional content from your food. You should be in a happy frame of mind. You should be appreciating the food. Some people do a prayer or some kind of salute or appreciation to the food, gratefulness for the sustenance that the food provides. I think that's a great thing. Let's see. And also, again, when you eat, I think it's ideal to eat your big meal in the middle of the day so that you have as little body or as little food being digested in your stomach as the day goes on, and to burn that energy, and then to have a completely empty stomach by the time you go to sleep at night. And I try to eat my biggest meal around 12:1, 2. That's the majority of my feeding window, as they call it. And also, drinking too. Not to drink past like 3 hours before you go to sleep. Like have your ideal intake of hydration like 3 to 4 hours prior to going to bed for sleep, because you're less likely to get up to pee when you go to bed. And that's a challenge for me to get all that that liquid in, get all that hydration in prior to, say, I like to go to bed 9:30, so getting all that hydration in before 6:30, I just find a challenge, because I usually like to have a long period of time when I eat a major meal before I drink and have hydration, because I don't want the liquid to interfere with my digestive process. So yeah, so that's a challenge and something I work on. And yeah, so the number 7 is exercise. And exercise is kind of obvious. Not only does regular exercise help our heart move blood through our body, but it also moves lymphatic fluid, which doesn't have a pump. So exercise is essential. Regular exercise is essential for so many reasons. It's not only essential physically for our body, but it's also essential for our well-being, our mental well-being. I'm going into the woods now. Yeah, so exercise is essential, and it's something that we should all focus on. And I differentiate walking from regular exercise because to me, walking is a different kind of therapy than other kinds of exercise. Walking for me is not only is it has a physical element to it, but it's also therapeutic for me. I love to brainstorm while I'm walking, and yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. I enjoy walking so much, and part of life is joy. And it's funny how you can actually start to enjoy things that are good for you when you realize, as you're doing them, you're doing something that's self-loving. It's really a beautiful feeling to be in that moment knowing that what you're doing is right. So yeah, now, and there are a lot of different schools of thought. Some people say that walking is a waste of time. You should run. And a lot of it has to do with how old you are, what level of fitness you're at. I like to run too. I don't run as much as I walk. I used to be a runner. Right now, I'm very conscious of the health of my knees and my hips, and I try not to do anything extreme. So I try to use caution. Say when I sprint, I make sure I warm up, and that's a whole nother topic. But is part of exercise. It's a special part of exercise, but if someone is healthy, by all means sprint a little bit here and there. But anyway, getting back to walking, I heard it's ideal to walk about 15 to 20,000 steps a day. For me, that's about 7.5 to 10 miles. Although 10,000 steps is also a standard as well. The difference between 5,000 steps or 10,000 steps and say 15,000 steps is I'm not looking to be Olympic athlete, but I'm looking to be athletic, because I want to squeeze as much juice out of that lemon called life as I can. So I'm all about doing things in that what I would call ideal range. You know, you don't want to go too far, you don't want to go too extreme, you don't want to do damage. Like, I may run a marathon at some point, but I wouldn't want to do too many marathons because I don't want to pre-age my body parts. I don't want to wear them out prematurely. So I try to go at things methodically. And so that's walking. Oh, a very important part about walking is, and it gets into another area called it gets into another area called I can't think of it. Wow. Okay. So another area of walking is walking backwards, and there's various YouTubers that specialize in the value of walking backwards. The knees over toes guy is prominent among them, and he talks about protecting your knees, your hips, your feet by various exercises, including walking backwards. And that's something I do pretty much every day. So, yeah.